So I want to acknowledge some more people that are here. I've got like people I know from coffee shops, from restaurants, students, friends, some people who are students and friends, some people who are students and enemies. No, they're not. It's just a great mix. There's some parents and students that I teach here. So, and of course there's the Andy fan club. So also we're very, very pleased to have Elise Witt with us tonight. Elise is one of the wonderful all-around musical forces in Atlanta. And it's just a pleasure to, we've been able to play a couple times on stage and I've always admired her work. Do you want to share anything that you're up to, like coming up?
We're singing at 1 Billion Rising next Saturday. Our students from the Global Village Project, this is one of them, who goes to academe now. So 1 Billion Rising is a movement that Eve Ensler of Vagina Monologues fame started, and it's to end violence against women and girls around the world. And there's a dance, and there's a song that I wrote called Break the Silence, and we'll be performing that with our students, and people will be doing dancing and singing all around the entire world.
Where exactly?
It's Saturday the 14th, it's a Valentine's Day during the day, and it's at City Hall Atrium in Atlanta City Hall Atrium.
It'll be wonderful. I performed in the last couple of years of those shows, and it's a great cause and a wonderful gathering of musicians and other artists. So I'm sure it'll be fantastic. So our next one, I'm calling the Moderns. Chopin was, to me, a just absolute visionary, kind of like Debussy was. He broke all kind of rules that were sort of stated or unstated, and he would do all kinds of really interesting dissonant chords that really had not been done before. And they're in passing in the pieces, but they were very jarring at times for his listeners, and a challenge for people at the time to take in. But he really stretched what was done with music. He also would do things like, one of the songs I'm playing had 5 in one hand versus 6 in another, which is pretty much not doable, but you know, he tried all kind of interesting rhythmic things. So in some of his lines, he kind of, it's not that it sounds like jazz, but he's going so much in and out of harmony. If you listen to it slow, he's doing all kind of dissonances, but they don't last. So he was able to get away with them, but he was, you know, in some ways anticipated modern music, I think. So the next two pieces I call the Moderns. One of them, those of you that can see the right hand, you'll see that it's all black notes, everyone. And the black notes, it's called a pentatonic scale or 5-note, and it's sometimes called the universal music scale. You can hear it in Celtic cultures and African, it's everywhere. There are a lot of melodies that are just out of that or that are mostly based on that. Modern jazz has made a lot of use of the pentatonic, and you hear things like this where people are just playing black notes or some equivalent of that. So the use of some group of notes that's not a major minor scale as a basis of song was pretty much novel. The left hand in this piece is doing other more typical notes, but the right hand doing what's called a mode or a non-major minor scale was pretty interesting. There were occasionally songs in what was called Dorian or other what were called church modes, but this was really a unique thing. And the other one that I'm kind of calling the ragtime was a completely novel idea for the left hand. So you can hear that has a kinship with ragtime or stride or jazz. And this piece also has a very strong offbeat character. The melody's almost always on that piece, so it's a very dry. That's also very characteristic of more modern music and jazz and ragtime and stuff. So just for fun, I'm going to take a section of this that would be something like this, the way he wrote it. And try to make something ragtimey, early 20th century stride jazz out of it. Here's how it actually So this next one is sometimes called the Black Note Etude. So if you notice, you'll see the right hand only plays black notes. There's actually one place where it plays in F. So be on the lookout for that. You get extra hummus if you find it. So I was going to do one other improv for you, and it really is an improv because I've spent maybe 10 minutes fooling around with a few ideas for this. So this is a very famous Chopin piece. I'm not even going to say the name. You'll almost all know it. I'm going to start out playing the piece, and at some point I'll just start improvising. Improvising is like not the domain of classical musicians, and that didn't used to be the case. David probably could speak on that. But there was some point where it just became so much about playing the exact notes, and that was so demanding that The skill of improvising was kind of for people who did folk music or later in jazz, but people like Beethoven or Mozart could certainly improvise. I'm sure Chopin could too. So I'd like to eventually do a concert that I'm going to call "What if Chopin played jazz?" and then "What if Debussy played jazz?" And we'll kind of mix the two. So and maybe involve some other musicians. So I'll keep you posted on that. While I'm thinking of it too, where's Andy and family over there? So one of the goals we have for Andy is to do a full, this was a start concert in the spring, including some Mozart, Chopin, other pieces. So that will be upcoming. So if you want to be on the list for that, why don't you see his parents and give them your email? Maybe we can put a list out so more people can sign up for that. But that will be coming somewhere around there, and should be wonderful. And that will just be Andy's event. So the last two here, I'm calling the rhythm pair because both of them have this rhythm, which was a very common rhythm at the time. It's called a dotted 16th. We dotted 8 through 16, which is 1, 2, 3, da da. And we don't really have that rhythm so much in our music. It's more like 1, 2, da da, like a shuffle or a swing or a jazz. But in Mozart, that was a very defining rhythm for Chopin and his style. So, anyways, both of these pieces will have that rhythm in there. So you'll hear it. And the first one I'm going to play is also one where the right hand is doing a lot of interesting arpeggios, and the left hand has the melody for the most part. The last one, it's actually the left hand that's doing the intense stuff, and the right hand that has the melody. And that one I think a lot of you will recognize. acknowledge my good friend and musical colleague and chiropractor is here, Dr. Phil. And if my back is looking good, it's all about that. And two of my best friends in the world, Kendra Moon and James Provost, are both here. I'm so happy, and you guys have seen me through a lot of musical ups and downs, and I'm so glad that you're always here sharing with my musical journey. So here comes the Black Note Etude. So you'll see the right hand pretty much just playing black notes. Because if it was called the Black Note Etude, then it was all playing white notes. That just won't make any sense. Oh, wait a second. I already did that, right?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, yeah. No, my last
But it was
one.
good, you played again.
I can do it. I can do requests, or do you just want to hear Misty? We've got, so this last one, sometimes called the Revolutionary Etude, and has a very strong and easily recognizable melody, and it is a super passionate piece. And a lot of you are going to recognize it, and hopefully I'll find it. Let's see, where is it?